Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I think we are live. You guys, I'm trying to go live on Instagram, but it doesn't seem to be letting me. So that is A-okay. We're just going to go live right here. Hi, everyone. We're live. Hi, Pen. Thank you for being here today.
I'm so happy to be here.
You guys love her, and I love her so much. She's the internet's favorite skin expert.
You're so sweet.
So today we are going to talk, you guys, this was a long time coming. I've been talking to Pen one-on-one about all of the new facial devices that have come out on the market. And there's so many, it's so overwhelming. We've been testing them and trying them. And a couple months ago, I told Pen, listen, we got to do a live stream about these devices because I get asked all the time if I can only invest in one because they are not cheap, which one will give me the most bang for my buck.
Yeah.
And to be honest, being that I am not a skincare specialist, I am a licensed hairstylist, a makeup artist. Skincare is the weakest of my links. So I had to bring in the person who knew everything about it, and that's Pen.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to have this conversation because I probably own 20 devices and they aren't all created equally. And it does get very confusing. I know for my community, it gets confusing what each modality even means, what it will address, and really then what the realistic outcomes can be. It's important to know that because like you said, it's not cheap. Also, what I'd love to talk about too is the commitment of time, because people need to, when they buy a device, they also have to know that they can actually use the device the way it's supposed to be used, or else they aren't going to get the results that they want.
Yeah. And to be honest, I'm not like the lowest maintenance gal in the world. I definitely love all of the beauty things, but even I can only really commit to one device at a time. Like I'll do my current body or I'll do my zip. It's hard for me to, after I get the kids to bed, I get their lunches made for the next day, I clean the kitchen. It's already 10:30. I have maybe 20 minutes before I have to go to bed. So I need to be really efficient with what I do. And I think a lot of women are like that, whether they're just extremely busy with families, or even if their kids are grown up, they're not high maintenance. They're not going to spend an hour in the bathroom, like zipping and lasering and lighting.
Yes. I have some tips for that though. I do have some tips for ways to get a little bit more in and kind of just get a little bit more done. Cause I do 2 or 3 devices pretty regularly. And it's kind of a matter of making it work. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, we have to talk about that.
Yeah, we will.
Hi, Bronnie.
Hi, Bronnie.
It's the morning for her.
Oh, yeah.
That's so cool.
That. Me too.
Okay, so we're getting in. Oh, Jane just said she's debating to buy the Tria laser or the Dermrays Revive laser. We're going to talk about that, and you're going to see there is a hilarious story about this laser. Yeah. I promise we'll talk. Stay on. And also, I'm doing a giveaway for everyone who's online right now. I'm doing a giveaway for you guys. So I'm going to be giving away the Jobs LED light at the end of this stream. I'm going to be mailing it to you guys free of charge. So stay tuned for that. I will announce that in a little bit, but let's get started. Okay, so the first device I want to talk about, this is how we're going to do it. I have a few little notes about what the device is best for. I'm going to tell you guys my notes. Okay, they're all written down. And then we're going to talk to Pen about her expert advice and thoughts and experience with each device. And you guys feel free to question or leave anything in the comment section so that you can comment. So the first one is the Nira Pro laser. I talk about this a lot on the channel. I love the Nira Pro. I'm sponsored by Nira. This is not sponsored. This live stream is not sponsored. They have no idea I'm even talking about this laser, but I do want to tell you guys that because since I started using it, I loved it. We entered a partnership and now I do a sponsorship with them once every 3 or 4 months, just so that it's out there. I feel like that's really important to be authentic about that. So this is a device I use every single day religiously. It's 2 minutes a day. This is the new one. They just did like an updated version of the old one. I always used to use the old one. Now I use this one. This stimulates natural collagen production by using non-fractional laser technology. It smooths fine lines. It restores firmness. And there's an app connected for progress tracking. I haven't been using the app, but they do actually have an app where you can take your photo in the exact same position throughout the months. And then you can actually see your results throughout the months, which is really cool. The reason that I love this device is because the biggest issue I have with my skin and with those first signs of aging, well, first signs of aging, it's my eyes. I really struggle with under my eyes. And this is one of the only devices that I find can be safely used right under the eye area, and it doesn't hurt, it's not uncomfortable, and it's fast. So I've gotten good results out of this laser, but I know that everyone has different perspectives on it. So what do you think? Tell me everything.
So I got the Nira several years ago, and I did a test around my eyes, and they didn't have the ghosting software then where you could put your face in and stuff like that. It was back in the beginning with Nira. And I definitely thought that I saw improvement underneath my eyes. The pros were for me that it was so easy to use, 2 minutes a day. And I felt like it was easy to commit to because, of course, consistency is everything. I did feel like I got a little bit dehydrated from using that device. The good news is that's really an easy thing to fix. So that 1450 nanometer laser is going in and basically it's stimulating collagen, which is probably why you are seeing some results. It takes a little bit of time because collagen building takes time, but eventually what you should see is the thickening of the skin, should see a little bit less crow's feet, fine lines, stuff like that. I also have had reports in my Facebook group of people actually getting a little bit of lift on their hooded lids. And so I think that all of that are pretty reasonable expectations. Honestly, the only downside for me was a little bit of dryness, but I'm also normal to dry. You're normal to combo? Do you have a little bit of oily?
I'm quite oily. I'm
So
combo,
see, it's
oily,
different
and
for you. You
oily.
probably never even, that probably wasn't even a thing for you. And so that's also specific to me, but the tech is really good. The tech and the expectation to build a little bit of collagen, thicken, especially I'd say around your eyes is the best place for this laser for sure. And so, yeah, I think it's a solid choice for sure.
How does it work exactly? Because I know that this laser and the Tria, they're actually different, right? So can you
Yes.
explain the differences?
So they're the same and they're different because both of them are going to be fractional non-ablative lasers. And what that means is non-ablative just means ablative means it's going to basically blow up your dermis. You actually ablade skin. Like, how do I explain this? Non-ablative means you don't disrupt the skin as far as, there's no holes being punched, there's no cutting necessarily, okay? So they're both non-ablative, which is good. I don't even think there is such thing as an ablative laser at home anyway. And they're fractional. And fractional just means that when you're using it, it doesn't completely treat the entire area of skin that it's working in. It treats little pieces of skin in the dermis to stimulate collagen and leaves skin around that treated area free from being treated. And what happens with that is it heals faster. It has this skin that didn't get treated that can go in and be like, oh, I'll come over there and help you to the skin that just got treated. That's fractional non-ablative laser. So they're both that. And the Tria, I can't remember the wavelength because I just got this myself recently. Do you have that? Is it also 1400 or 1450?
Oh, I don't have that
I don't
here.
think they put that out actually. I don't know that we know the wavelength. So that would be a big difference too. So the longer the wavelength, the higher that number is. Typically that means it's going to get safer and safer and safer for higher Fitzpatrick levels. So
Oh.
darker skin, the longer the wavelength, the higher that number. Usually it ends up being safer for people of color to use. And so that's really, really important too, because there's a lot of lasers, a lot of IPL devices and stuff, which we're not talking about IPL today, that I would say to somebody, if you are a Fitzpatrick 4, which you probably are, Gabby, that
Yeah.
you should, or darker, 4 or 5 or 6, you shouldn't use. Nira should be okay for certainly Fitzpatrick 4, maybe even Fitzpatrick 5. I'm not sure what Nira says. So that nanometer number really matters a lot when you're choosing a laser as well.
Oh, that is so fascinating. Wow.
But the what's going on is it's putting heat into the skin.
Yes.
And in the dermis, there is resistance just by virtue of the laser going in. So that resistance causes a frictional heat, and that heat basically causes some damage. The damage is incidental and easily fixed, but the body thinks, oh, I need to send in the troops and really fix that area. And that is usually by sending all the troops, which include collagen.
Yeah, and it is really hot. Like it really does heat up deeply in the skin,
Yeah.
but not in a way where it's like, ah, or my skin really reacts later. I was using it at level 4 forever, and I've just upgraded to level 5. For whatever reason, my skin can handle 5 now. Before I was like, I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
And that brings me to
I know what that brings you to.
Guys, oh, let's just answer Jane's question. Sorry,
Oh, yeah.
Jane, for leaving you there. Can you use Nair twice a day? Is that too much?
Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, you answer.
I don't think that it's too much. I just think that you'll get diminishing returns. So I would stick to the once a day. And the deal with a lot of these lasers is that they do a bunch of clinicals and they do a bunch of testing to basically calculate out results and all of those kind of things. So they say those 2 minutes a day per area. So I suppose if you want to do 2 minutes all around your eyes and then you want to do around your mouth, because it's also really, really good for perioral lip lines. Does take a little bit longer, but it is really, really good for that because that skin is thicker than the skin around your eyes. But that you could do, but I wouldn't treat the same area twice. I think you'd just be wasting your time.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes more is not better.
Hi,
Like
Lori.
it doesn't lead to greater results.
Hi, Jan.
Okay, so let's talk about the Tria. So guys, I just got the Tria because the people that work in marketing for Current Body had this little lunch and invited some of us creators in Toronto. And then she was talking about the Tria and she's like, I got to send you the Tria. I was super intrigued. I'm like, please send me the Tria. I think my audience would love this. So the Tria is, again, using a fractional laser resurfacing technology, penetrates deep into the skin to stimulate natural collagen renewal, smooths fine lines and wrinkles, and you can see visible improvements in as little as 2 treatments with a 60-day money-back guarantee, which is always really nice. Now, I have to tell you a story about this laser because I've used all of the things, and being that I have oily skin, I don't tend to have reactive redness. I never get sunburned. Like I am not the type of person that has sensitive skin or ever uses sensitive skin products ever. Like I can melt my skin and I'm like back to normal the next day. Like for real, like it's just not reactive. So of course I'm like, I use all of the things. I use tretinoin every day. I use like my skin's like fine. So I went to the highest setting. I'm like, the baby setting, like not for me. Okay, we got to pull up this photo. So then I freaking text Pen at like 11 o'clock at night saying, my skin is on fire. I think I hurt myself with the Tria laser. I don't know what to do. I had like sharp pain, guys. I'm not exaggerating. I really thought I got like a 3rd-degree burn and I had to go to the ER. Like it was, I had to take Tylenol to fall asleep. Like my face was pulsing. It was so bad. So then Pen's like, looking at your results, I think that you might just have some problematic area in the cheeks, but everything else is going to be okay. So Pen, take it home. What did I like? Showing this to you guys is like a vulnerable moment for me, but I had to share this story because I think this is something a lot of us do, even beauty professionals, for the love of God. Like I've been in the industry for 20 years and I still melted my face with this device. So go.
I think what this says, first of all, is this laser is actually legit. This is a laser that was around and then they went away. The company, they stopped selling it for a while. Beauty Tech Group, which is Current Body, bought Tria, and that's how we have Tria again. And honestly, it's a fantastic laser. It's other than Nira, I mean, to me, I think it's even it's a little bit more efficient than the Nira, if you ask me, because you can actually treat quickly, but it is a legit laser. And so for that, you have to start at that low level, even if you think your skin can tolerate it, because it genuinely, I mean, honestly, looking at your picture, especially looking now, and of course, hindsight's 2020, That's how a lot of people look after we would treat them in clinic with a laser, which is why I knew you were going to be okay. Cause I'm like, well, you just look like you got a laser treatment at the clinic is what it is. And so the reality is, it's always best to start on the lower level. But the other reality is the laser is just legit. It actually works. It's going to do that same thing, similar thing as the Nira. And it's going to go in a fractional manner without ablating any skin, of course, stimulate collagen in the dermis. And I would say that the Tria, because we're going to get into some other lasers, the Tria and the Nira are going to help most with fine lines, wrinkles, maybe some laxity, crepey skin kind of thing. There are going to be other lasers, specifically the Dermraze laser, that I think is better for hyperpigmentation. Now, the Tria still will help with hyperpigmentation, kind of like incidentally, separately, but I think it really shines at helping with collagen stimulation, fine lines, wrinkles, and laxity, crepey skin kind of thing. And so I think that that's an interesting. You have to decide what is your pain point, what are you trying to treat, and know what because a lot of people will buy something thinking they're treating one thing and it's not even going after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Monica's asking, is it even safe for home use then? And I think this is where it got me, because I've used Zip like forever. I've used all of them, right? This was the first device that I've ever in my life used where I'm like, this is a professional level device. Like, this isn't a thing where you're going to see results, you're going to love it, but it's not like in clinic results. I don't know. I mean, I can't say for real. I've never worked I'm not an esthetician, but I feel like this is like in clinic, like this is hardcore.
It's definitely the closest. And the only other one is the Dermraze. And honestly, I just did a video recently and I shared your story, Gab. And I was trying to decide between using the two, and I'm debating doing a split face. I'm not sure if I want to, I'm not sure, but because I think these two lasers, the Tria and the Dermraze, are two legit lasers that are the closest thing that we've gotten to the lasers that I would use in clinic. Monica, I think it was Monica, asked if it's even safe to use at home. Yes, it is definitely safe. It's FDA cleared, all of those things. The thing about it is it's really, really important to just, we're saying this as a PSA, don't go in and go straight to the highest level. You acclimate your skin, and over time you may find, just like Gabby with the Nira, you can move up a notch, but you will know when that time comes. And then Marella, I don't have my glasses on. I hope I said that right. Prepping your skin, I would say if you are a Fitzpatrick of 3, 4, 5, 6, and you have any kind of ever had any issues with hyperpigmentation, and especially if you're 4, 5, or 6, even if you don't, I would consider 2 weeks or so of a pigment inhibitor prior to starting the laser. And what that's going to do, it's going to suppress your melanocytes so that when you use a laser like this, you don't, and actually, I'm not even sure it's recommended for Fitzpatrick 6, but it's going to suppress your melanocytes. And those are the cells that produce pigment. And when you suppress that, you use a laser, you're less likely to end up with a little bit of hyperpigmentation from using the laser, which of course, getting rid of fine lines and building collagen isn't worth ending up with a bunch of sun or spots.
It's funny you said that, because after I had my face on fire, I went down the rabbit hole of like, oh my God, I need to Google this. Like, is this happening to other people? I'm not putting this down, by the way. I think this is amazing. It was user error. I made the mistake. It's not a problem with the device, but I read a lot of threads about how this made them have hyperpigmentation.
Right. And that's where it's a challenge with at-home devices that are clinical grade, because what they're missing is the esthetician who can say, okay, we have to prep your skin first. And honestly, I'd say almost any of these lasers, if you are a Fitzpatrick 3, 4, 5, or 3, 4, 5, 6, you got to be really, really careful with lasers ever. But I would say you always want to prep your skin with pigment inhibitors. And if you're not sure what your Fitzpatrick level is, there's a really simple quiz. You can literally put in Fitzpatrick level quiz, take this really quick quiz, and it will tell you where you fall on that scale. Fitzpatrick 1, 2, and then like borderline up to 3 fortunately, they are really people that don't often end up with pigment and stuff like that. I always had people pre-treat. Just why not, you know?
Yeah, it's safe. It's just safe. Yeah, Maxine is asking, I have an original Tria. Do you know what the difference is between the original one and the new one?
I was trying to find that out. I know that they say they updated it, but honestly, I couldn't see any new specs. So, you know what? Maybe Gabby, we can come back. I will find that out. Maybe we could put it into the description box or a pinned comment or something.
Yes.
Because that's something that I'd like to know too. I know that it's updated, but I actually think it might be the same device.
Yeah, Maxine, we will definitely look into that. Check the pinned comment in like a day. Just give us a day to update that, and we'll put the information in for sure. And if we can't find it on the website, I'll email the people at Current Body that sell it, and we can ask them direct. Like, we'll get you that information, I promise. So Jane wrote, I heard some people applying numbing cream before using the Tria. Do you really need something because it's painful using the Tria?
So no, you don't. But I have to say that everybody is very, very different when it comes to pain tolerance. I can microneedle at a half a millimeter without numbing cream, and there are people that can't even get close to that without numbing cream. So it really is a little bit subjective. Also, fun fact, if you happen to be a redhead, you probably would want numbing cream. Redheads tend to experience pain just a little bit more. And so yes, they might, if you have red hair, you might want to get yourself some 5% lidocaine off of even like Amazon or something like that and numb for 20 minutes. The key would be to remove that numbing cream completely, do a quick 2 cleanses, and make sure that you don't have any left because it might hinder just the entire treatment. You know, you don't want that in the way. But it shouldn't be necessary. I don't think that it's on the level of pain like going into a clinic and getting a hardcore laser as far as pain is concerned. What do you think, Gab?
Yeah, of all the devices I've ever used, it's definitely the most painful, but it's not painful where it's unbearable to use it unless you're on the highest setting.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to get to the highest setting yet.
Yeah, and I put it on the first setting and I just swiped it on my arm.
Yeah.
And I will say it's prickly. I mean, it's what we used to call that in clinic was spicy. I'm like, that's a little spicy. And so, but I personally think that it's tolerable and it's a pretty fast treatment. I do remember from the first go round with the Tria several years ago that I did experience a tiny bit of swelling and redness for about an hour or even 2 after I did it. I'd wake up the next day and it was fine. But I think that all of those things are things to take into consideration. Some people are not going to want to be red and a little bit swollen for even an hour, you know? So there's that. And you have to use it 7 days a week for 8 weeks. And then you take a month off and then you can repeat that. So that's also something that you need to know is that's an intensive treatment, but then you take that month off and you let your skin heal, generate that collagen and do its thing. And then you can go back in and just repeat. But it's important to know that it's a serious laser. But with that, you know, you're going to get better results. I mean, you're going to get more collagen out of it.
One thing that I did find with using it, I used it every day for about 7 days. And then I didn't have to get Botox. I went to get Botox, so I stopped it and I haven't started it again. I did find because it was only 7 days, by day like 5, my skin felt like not soft. Like it almost felt rough.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part, you know, when you start tretinoin, you're like, I hate this. Like I'm getting breakouts and my skin is dry. You got to get through it. It's hardcore. Like you guys, if you get this laser, you're going to get amazing results, but it's not like the easiest of the at-home devices, in my opinion, at all.
It's easy to use. It's just, there is definitely downtime each day and downtime as in you're literally not going to use this laser and want to go to the grocery store 15 minutes later. And then also that kind of sandpaper that you experience, that comes along too. Like when you microneedle, stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of that is accelerated skin turnover, shed and stuff like that. Frankly, that usually is telling you that something really good is coming. but
Yes.
you got to get through that part. And it is, I estimate, because I haven't started this yet, that would be the beginning of the treatment. And by like the second or third week, that would kind of run its course and you would
Yes.
kind of get into a flow. But I haven't done it yet. I haven't done the 8 weeks. So that's just as a clinician, that's my kind of guess. So,
Yeah.
but I do think people just need to be, it's reasonable. There's so many devices, and this one is really, really exciting, but it's important for people to have reasonable expectations on all fronts so they don't get it and then not use it. And that's the biggest waste, is to get a device and then it doesn't get used,
Yeah. And that ends up in your drawer. Totally. Let's
Yeah.
answer one more and then we'll get, can the Tria be purchased on the Current Body website? Yes. And there are already links in the description box for everything. Penn gets some like exclusive discount codes. And so check the description box because I don't know if we have a discount code on the Tria, but there are discount codes on a lot of the devices.
There's a discount code on Tria, and the link takes you through Tria. And Current Body owns Tria, but you actually go to the dedicated Tria site where you can get, I think it's 10% off. It might be 15% off. I can't remember. But yeah, there is a discount through Tria, which is really buying from Current Body because they own Tria. So.
Oh, this is a good question too. That's awesome, Penn. I have this question too. I was struggling with this. Can you use tretinoin after Tria? Now, this I was struggling with because my face, even after 7 days, was on fire after Tria. Like even on the lower setting, I had to use like a cooling gel. So I was like, oh my God, if I use tretinoin, my face is going to like hate me. So how would you do that? If you have to use it 7 days a week, would you stop tretinoin for 3 months?
So that is honestly, normally I say no. Normally I say, no, just stop it, a day or two before and, blah, 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 especially for people that have been using Tret forever. This is a laser where I cannot see that you would continue tretinoin use while you're using this laser, unless you use the laser in the morning and you were able to, get through the morning and then you used your Tret at night. But even then, I don't know. I think the skin's pretty compromised and probably would not like both of those things. It would end up kind of an irritated mess. Yes. You could switch down to like a retinol, go week, so that you don't completely forego, especially if you're a regular tretinoin user. If you switch down to a more gentle retinol with an OL, or even a retinol with an AL, you could probably at least hold, because who wants to start over on tretinoin either? You know what I mean? Like then if you go 2 months without Tret and then you got to start over and do the retin-A uglies again, like that doesn't sound fun either. So I would probably go down in my vitamin A just to kind of hold the line with vitamin A so I don't have to reacclimate to the vitamin. And maybe I would try after 2 or 3 weeks to start slowly reintroducing tretinoin if my skin was starting to acclimate to the laser. I would have to like feel that out, but I can see where you would not want to use tretinoin because you're using this every 7 days a week. So there's no break. Yeah.
That was my worry.
It's a tricky one because it's legit. And like in clinic, when I would book somebody for a laser treatment, I would tell them, just don't use Tret, for a couple days before. And certainly we had a guideline for post-laser care, and it did not involve tretinoin for several days, of course. And so I kind of look at that same way, and you're using this every day. So,
yes. If you use Tria, can you use vitamin C?
Yeah, you can. I would say that L-ascorbic acid might be a tiny bit irritating. And a lot of people with L-ascorbic acid, so that's the kind of gold standard vitamin C, like SkinCeuticals, Timeless, that kind of thing. That one can be a little bit irritating to the skin for some people, can cause them redness. So that might not be the one to use. You might want to switch to a vitamin C derivative, which is like tetrahexyl decylascorbate, THD, or one of the other derivatives. They're a little bit more gentle but that antioxidant protection would be fantastic while you're doing any laser treatments.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you guys for the sweet messages. Michelle and April, you guys are just the best. I had a tough day today, and it's so nice sometimes reading these comments. I really appreciate you guys being here on the stream and everyone else that's on the stream. I appreciate you guys so much as my community. I really do. I don't say it enough. Okay, Current Body. Let's go, baby. Current Body LED. So I have my Current Body mask that my kids and husband make fun of every single day.
Oh my gosh,
And
right?
then I also have one for the neck and décolleté.
Me too.
Right? That's
Me
a
too.
comment I get a lot about my neck and décolleté. I always get asked about it. So red light therapy boosts collagen production for younger looking skin. It can reduce wrinkles by 30% and improve plumpness by 57%. There's 3 clinically proven wavelengths: red light, which boosts collagen production, reducing fine lines and wrinkles; near infrared, which energizes cells to firm, tighten, and brighten skin; deep near infrared, which targets areas where signs of aging are more pronounced, boosting collagen production deep into the skin. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. I thought this was hoaxy forever, going to be totally real. I would use it on and off, and I'm like, it's relaxing, but it's kind of like, I don't know, hoaxy. And then I committed to it because of Penn, because she's like, are you using your red light? I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things. If it's in the drawer, it's not going to do a damn thing for you. I have been religiously using it for months. I use it with they have like a serum that goes with it. That's green tea. Every single night, my skin has never, ever, ever looked better. Like, it's almost shocking when I wash my face in the morning. I'm like, it is so even and glow. I've never, ever had such nice skin. The only thing that I've changed is adding this to my routine, and then obviously using my Nira every night. But that's really it. My skincare, the tretinoin, everything's the same. So it has to be a result of committing to this over time. It takes time, though.
Yep. It's the most amazing modality. LED is definitely my favorite, hands down favorite modality for sure. So yeah.
Yeah. Does red light cause hyperpigmentation?
So it can, yes. What's important to know is that depending on your Fitzpatrick again, so that Fitzpatrick comes in handy to know that little detail. And depending on your susceptibility to melasma, a specific kind of hyperpigmentation. So not just any old hyperpigmentation. If you're prone to melasma and you are a Fitzpatrick 1, 2, or 3, you are best to use just red light alone, no near infrared. If you are a Fitzpatrick 4, 5, and 6, you are great, and you're prone to melasma, that's important, then near infrared is better for you. And there's all kinds of reasons for this. And it's really relatively new research that shows that. We used to think that near infrared was the culprit for everything, but it turns out in darker skin tones, near infrared is actually fantastic. So, and then if you aren't prone to melasma, the combo is the best. You want both of those wavelengths, and the Current Body has that third deep infrared, near infrared. It's like 1072, I think, wavelength. And they have it around the eyes and around the mouth. And there are actually studies that show that it increases the collagen in those areas. There's also a study that shows it helps with under eye bags, like actual under eye fat bags with that longer wavelength, which I think is like mind blowing, because Current Body was the first company to put those wavelengths around the eyes and the mouth. So that's really exciting. But the answer is yes, it can definitely cause hyperpigmentation if you have those parameters. And so I always tell people, if you're somebody who's dealt with hyperpigmentation for your life, it's been a fight of yours, then LED might not be worth taking the chance. It just might not be worth it. If you are somebody who occasionally collects some sunspots during the summer, that kind of thing, LED actually might be able to help you with that, because it helps to increase something in the skin called adenosine triphosphate, which is ATP. It's a cellular energy in the skin. The more energized your cells are, the better they can repair themselves, the better they can fight off hyperpigmentation. They can generate collagen. They can do all these things. So it's such a nuanced answer. And I understand why it's a question, because there are definitely people in my community, I'm sure, Gabby, you hear this too, where they're like, oh, I used X, Y, and Z mask and I ended up with a bunch of freckles or whatever. We've all heard that. It's definitely down to the individual, the wavelengths that are being used, and the mask that's being used. So there's so many LED masks on the market now that are not what they say they are, which is really unfortunate, which is why I think too, the Current Body is the best mask on the market right now, because they actually have like verification. You can see when and where the LEDs that are in your mask were put in your mask, and they verify, they like stamp that we promise that these are what we say they are, and here's your verification and all this stuff. And so they just took it to the next level as far as all of that certification and everything. So long-winded answer to tell you it depends. I guess that's the answer, which is unfortunate. I wish I could just say, oh, it won't for you. Yes, it will for you. I wish I could say that. And the truth is, you don't know. It hasn't for me. I have had melasma when I had my children, and LED has only been amazing for my skin. It's been amazing for my skin.
I struggle with hyperpigmentation too, being that I have darker skin tone. And this is the first time in my life where my skin is like, I don't want to say perfect. It's definitely not. You guys saw the picture of me with laser, but I'm going to send my producer right now this picture of me in the car, natural lighting, no filter. Obviously, it's just a cell phone picture for her to pop up, because I found that I have a lot of hyperpigmentation here. And if I have the tiniest pimple and I touch it at all, it's a brown mark for months. Yeah. It really is the first time that my skin does not have hyperpigmentation. I don't want to say that as a general thing, because, you know, if it happens to you guys, it can definitely happen, but I think it's more likely that your skin will even out than it will be, right?
Yes. I absolutely would. I would say that like 95% of the time I'm like, go for it. You should try it. The risk is worth it. But I appreciate that somebody who has struggled really badly with melasma their whole life, and that, or, you know, most of their life kind of thing. I just usually say, okay, you got to be really careful with LED, because that could be the worst thing ever for you if you spend all this money on a device and you felt like it made your melasma worse. Yeah. Majority of the time though, it should make everything better. It should definitely do like a lot better.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we'll get that picture up in a sec, you guys. We did have a question from Alicia about the newer acne version. I just saw this. I don't have it. I've never tried it, but I saw it at the Current Body lunch in Toronto when we were there.
I have it, but it's upstairs in a box. I haven't even opened it yet. I wonder if we can look up, because is it just blue?
Yes, it's blue. It's blue light. And so they were talking about, if say you are 19 years old and you're really struggling with acne, you want that one more than this one.
My question is, do you remember if do they have any red in it at all?
I don't know for sure.
I feel like they don't. I feel like it's blue only. And if it's blue only, then no, I would not buy it for anti-aging, is all I was going to say. The wavelength for blue is short. It's like 450, 415, something like that. And the purpose of that is, if you think about the wavelengths, just like we were just talking about with the longer wavelength with the Tria and the Nira, they're like 1400, 1450. They penetrate into the skin and affect processes happening deeper in the skin, which is why they get into that dermal layer and they're able to generate collagen and help with that process. The blue light sits more on the surface and does a bunch of stuff to our sebaceous glands and a lot of things with oxidative stresses and stuff like that. And it creates a very poor environment for P. acne bacteria to, oh, look at you, Gab, to hang out. So the blue light mask, I would say it's really for acne, and it's anti-inflammatory, and getting rid of inflammation is always fantastic for anti-aging, but I would not buy that mask for anti-aging.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what a beautiful picture. Your skin looks gorgeous.
And I've had so many issues with my skin. Like growing up, I had horrible acne, horrible. I went on Accutane when I was 23 or 24 because I just couldn't take it anymore. Like deep cystic, like embarrassing acne. And then I've had so many issues with a lot of crepiness under the eyes and texture, and just starting those modalities, they have made a big difference, you know, especially the red light, for real. Like you can really see in the cheekbone area how much glow. There's just so much more glow and evenness in the skin.
It's amazing. Yeah. Alicia, thank you for looking that up. Okay, so I will switch my answer. So it has the blue at 415, and that's going to help with acne, and it's incredibly anti-inflammatory. So blue is good for combating inflammation, not just because of acne, but it can help with any kind of inflammatory skin condition. Getting rid of the inflammation is helpful. 633 is the red wavelength that we were talking about, that especially if you're a Fitzpatrick 1, 2, or 3, and you've had any kind of melasma, it can be really, really helpful alone. Only caveat I say for the 415 is if you are Fitzpatrick 4, in particular of Asian descent, do not use any kind of blue LED on your skin. It can definitely cause some hyperpigmentation. It's just a different animal there. And so you want to be really careful. But I would say that because that blue light mask also contains that wavelength of 633, yes, it definitely is going to help stimulate collagen. It's going to boost ATP, and it's going to help with lowering inflammation. All of those things are anti-aging for sure.
Amazing. Now, this is a great question for you, Pen, because you have a daughter that's really young. Yep. Would you use blue light? Say your daughter is 12 years old, has acne. Would you give her the blue light therapy?
100%. 100%, because two things. And again, I haven't opened the box, but my guess is they have eye shields in there. Blue light, I definitely would on a 12-year-old. I wouldn't worry about it as much on myself, but that's like Gabby going in with the Tria. I don't know. But with blue light, I would want to protect their eyes. And usually with these masks now, they come with these little things so that you don't even see the light. But it is the most non-invasive, easiest way to help with acne, and it's a proven modality. So 100%, I think it's amazing for teenagers. I really do. I think that, and I would say it's a better line of defense than some of the harsh topicals that we would initially think we want to go in with, especially when a kid is 12. 12 is really young. And I mean, to go in with benzoyl peroxide and acids and all that stuff, which I'm not even saying that you shouldn't do that. If somebody's suffering from acne, you can develop a skincare regimen that works, but blue light's amazing. And it's so easy to do.
Yeah, see, that's great. It's a really easy way to help without being so invasive. Can blue light cause more melasma than red?
Yes and no. Yes, it can, depending on your Fitzpatrick level. If you're a 1 or a 2, probably not, but usually 1s and 2s, probably not. But you got to be careful when you get into the 3, 4, 5, especially 4s. There's just something about those Fitzpatrick 4s and blue light that do not go well together. So yes, it can. And it has a lot to do, obviously, with that wavelength and the visible light spectrum, et cetera. So yeah, you got to be really careful. Anybody who has reoccurring melasma, chronic melasma, you just got to be extra careful because, and the unfortunate thing is it's unpredictable. So people like me, I mean, I used to be a little bit more definitive with my answers. And now I'm like, it's so nuanced. And I just think, having had melasma myself, that nothing is worth totally flaring my melasma and having to go 3 months trying to fix it. So if there's a question, I usually say, yeah, it could definitely do that.
Great. Lori, thank you so much for the super thanks. You are the best. I don't know if it's called a super thanks or a super chat. I feel like I'm always a little newbie on live streams, but I really, really appreciate that.
So
we
sweet.
appreciate you here just as much as you appreciate us. Thank you so much. That's so thoughtful. All right, guys, are we going to move into this one? Job.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This is one expensive mask. What are your thoughts? I know you did a video on it. You know what? After this live stream, I'm going to pin your video in the pinned comment for people to get more info. What do you think about this guy? What are your thoughts?
So this is such an interesting mask because it uses what they call laser technology instead of LED. So that's an interesting nuance. And when you look at the specs, and I'm going off of memory, so forgive me, but there are certain specs in all LED masks that are important. And usually in a mask, you're going to look for between 30 and 50 joules per centimeter squared. So just 30 to 50. And most companies will disclose that information. and both are effective. The current body mask, I want to say, is at 45 or 50. It's right up there. It's in the perfect range. The Jobs mask falls in at 144 joules per centimeter squared. And so that was concerning to me because I worried that maybe it was too much light and could cause hyperpigmentation. That's what I was worried about. It fits really comfortably. I did not get any hyperpigmentation from using it. It looks like you're a serial killer or into some really weird stuff. And so there's that. And it doesn't treat your eye area, which was interesting. It does cover and treat your entire mouth area, which is a really good thing. So I'm iffy on it, honestly.
Yeah,
It's hard to get past the look of it, which I know is ridiculous, but I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they had to make it this brown, like bondage looking thing. Doesn't it look like that? Like it looks like what was that movie, Pulp Fiction, where they're like, bring out the gimp, that one, you know? I don't know. Talk about getting crap from the husbands. It's bad enough with the current body mask, let alone that. Oh my gosh, I had that on and my husband came up behind me and started doing Darth Vader, you know, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, for goodness sakes. But, you know, I'm back and forth. I ended up gifting mine to one of, I'm going to call her a subscriber. She has become a very good friend of mine. I ended up sending it to her. She loves it. So, you know, I mean, it's definitely subjective. What have you thought of it, Gab?
So I got it. So this is the thing. So they sent it to me and then I was using Current Body and I was on this Current Body, like mission, like, I don't know, path that I didn't want to get off the path. Cause I'm like, oh, but I'm starting to see results now after I thought this was gimmicky forever. And now. And so I didn't use it. So I have the brand new box and that's what I wanted to tell you guys. I'm going to be gifting this to you guys, one of you guys on me. It really is like very high quality. You can scare the crap out of your husband with it.
That's true. And you know what would be really great for whoever wins this mask to report back.
Yes.
You know, that is what I asked of Charlie, who I gifted mine to, and she is awesome. She has completely, you know, given feedback and stuff. And that's so valuable for the community to hear other people's experiences with stuff, you know?
100%. So if you win there, you guys have to take a photo with it. Give us some of your feelings about it in Instagram stories and tag us. It will literally make my whole entire week if you do that.
Yes.
So this is how you can win this. It's almost $900. It's completely on me. There's a lot of scammers on YouTube. So if anyone says, oh, you just got to pay shipping and it's like my name, that is a scammer. Okay. I would never, ever make a subscriber or a viewer pay for shipping on anything. That is my cost. That is my gift to you. So if you want to win this, we're going to do hashtag, I believe, mask, hashtag mask in the comments. Get all of them in. It's going to give you ballots to win. And then we have something that will randomly draw the winners. So make sure to get that in the comments right now. We'll go through another mask and then we'll draw this one after that one. So get it in there. I want you guys to win. It's going to be, you'll love it when you get it. It really is. It's very good, very high quality.
I'm going to answer a question real quick, Gab, that just came up.
Yeah.
Asking if the Jobs mask was like the Tria laser. And even though they're both lasers, they're very, very different. So the Jobs mask is something called low level laser therapy. So it is still a laser in that it is light that is collimated, all heading in the same direction at one wavelength. So that makes it a laser. That's how they get the laser moniker. That is also the Tria, but the Tria is that non-ablative. It's definitely packing more of a punch and it is not low level. So it's really important because both LED and the Jobs mask with the low level laser therapy, it's like cold laser. So you should not feel any heat. You should not, I mean, you feel a little bit of heat only because the mask is on your face and your breath warms you up. Like that is another way that sometimes people experience melasma with these masks. It's actually not the light. It's the fact that you get a little bit warm and heat can flare melasma. So that's another thing to just keep into account. If you are somebody who experiences melasma from heat, that's a trigger for you, a lot of these LED masks are not a good idea because they make you warm, not by virtue of the light, but by having something on your face. I
Yeah.
hope I answered that. Hope that makes sense.
Awesome. Yeah, that does. Okay, you guys want to do Zip Halo?
Yes.
This is one of my favorite devices I've ever gotten ever. So the Zip Halo is a nanocurrent and microcurrent facial toning device that reduces wrinkles by 28% in 6 weeks. It stimulates ATP production, boosts collagen, smooths fine lines and wrinkles, instantly lifts and tightens the skin through electrical muscle stimulation, and it helps get that glow. It evens skin tone, clears hyperpigmentation and age spots, and there's an app for specific treatments. Now, the really cool thing about this is that, like it said, there is nanocurrent and microcurrent. The microcurrent will give you an instant sculpting and lift. So we know Melanie Simon, who created this device, she does a lot of facials using this device for celebrities that are walking the red carpet, because you can really sculpt the face. So you can like chisel out the jaw, you can like snatch out the cheekbone. So if you're going to an event, if you use this 3-4 days in a row and you follow along with the app, she's right on the app with you. She'll tell, she guides you through every single treatment. You can really kind of transform your face for a short amount of time. It's not long-term change, but if you're going to an event and you want your brow to be lifted so you can get like a winged liner, you can actually do that with this. Nanocurrent is a long-term thing. That's what's going to get you that glow, that really healthy skin, that supple, beautiful skin. So this, in my opinion, is like a secret weapon. This is like amazing. I think this is an amazing device. How do you feel about it?
I love that device too. I will say, I'm going to be the voice of a different voice and tell you that I find that it is really, really good for skin quality because of that nanocurrent, but also I love it for lymphatic drainage. I feel like a lot of the lift that we see has to do with moving some lymph and some stagnant fluid off of the face. And that kind of reveals our structure and stuff like that. And so aesthetically, you see lift, but it's not necessarily always doing that, but that's still a really, really good thing. And like you said, it's amazing before an event. I would also say that microcurrent's one of those really interesting things because it's been around forever. I mean, estheticians know it's been used for decades and it's really good for wound healing. Awesome for that ATP. So again, that ATP is that energy, that cellular energy. Anytime we can energize our cells, they are going to do their job better. And if their job is like fibroblasts making collagen, then they're going to do that better. And who doesn't want that, right? So I'm always hesitant to say that it gives you lift because I think that might be a bold claim. I think it can give you this temporary effect of lift, but like you said, it's definitely not. It's not a facelift. I think it's really important that people have reasonable expectations, and it is another one that you have to use pretty regularly to retain the results. But I love it. I love the fact that you can get this one out of the box and it has a 4-minute treatment, and that's fast. Like to me, that's 4 minutes is easy peasy,
Yeah, and something else I think that we can talk about is that I find like when you have the framework of a lot of collagen already, like sometimes I'll use this on clients, say they're like 35, they have skin firmness, they have density and that like cushy face. I can get lift on them because they already have like the foundation. If you're 70 and you think this is going to replace an eyebrow lift surgery, like that's just not going to happen because the foundational elements are lacking. So I find with me, I can get some temporary lift in the brow for an event.
Brows especially. The brows especially, They're very suggestive, I mean, honestly, massaging that area can help to get a little bit of lift. And then you add a little microcurrent to it and it's like upping the ante,
Yes. The only thing is I'm concerned that it makes my Botox last not as long.
So here's the deal with that. I would say that if it was EMS, yes, it might not. But reality is when you get Botox, it's actually it is inhibiting acetylcholine, which is the actual firing of that neurotransmitter. So there's really nothing that you're going to do that's going to bring your Botox, to make it go away. In fact, I would say that instead, it's actually, sorry you guys for that slam. It's actually keeping the muscles in shape while they are under the effect of Botox. The last thing that you really want is atrophied muscles over a long, long, long period of time. Because of Botox, you don't get any of those etched in dynamic wrinkles or anything, but you need those muscles to be really healthy. So I actually think, and I'm probably like an unpopular opinion, I think that microcurrent is a fantastic adjunct to Botox because it keeps the muscles healthy when they're not being used. And so long term, that's really, really good for us as people who get Botox for a long, like I've gotten Botox for years and years. I want my muscles to be healthy so they don't atrophy and then, later.
Oh my God, that's actually so reassuring, because that was my biggest worry with it. Spending all this money, and then what if it's, wearing it? That's actually, that's awesome. That's good.
Well, the other thing though that's really important, and I'm sure you already know this, is when you do get Botox, that you don't use your Zip or any other microcurrent device, or frankly, any device on your, like, let's say it's your forehead, for at least 2 weeks, because you do not want to be moving that Botox around where you don't want it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really important. Okay. Let's do our giveaway winner.
Yay.
Let's do our giveaway winner. We also had one question that I do want to address. So Chris said, do these products have an impact on 60 plus year old virgin skin, or are we just sunk without surgery? First of all, Chris, I'm sure you are absolutely beautiful, radiant, and I love you very much. But I really think that you will see tons of improvements with any of these. Like, wouldn't you say so, Pen?
Yeah, for sure. And I would say, when you say 60-year-old virgin skin, my number one thing would be to get on a really good skincare regimen first. And once you establish that, maybe choosing a single modality that is going to help make some change. I would probably say, I honestly would go for LED first. I think that LED is non-invasive. It's so easy to use. It's so easy to be committed to. And you can see this glow and this radiance over time. But honestly, before you invest in any devices, I would make sure your skincare routine is on point. And that's as simple as, having a retinoid at night, your moisturizer, maybe an antioxidant in the morning, and some DNA repair enzymes, sunscreen, stuff like that. You don't need all of that, but that can make some major changes. Our friend Angie from Angie Hot and Flashy, she did not start her skincare journey until she was 50. She wasn't 60, but she was 50, and she had never done skincare at all. She had worshiped the sun. She was like, I was a mess. That woman looks like she is in her 40s and it is through good skincare and some devices, but good skincare first. So I would encourage you, it is 100% not too late to see some really amazing improvements in your skin.
Yeah, if you guys don't follow Angie Hot and Flashy, especially for you, Chris, like in your 60s, she's an amazing creator. She does some incredible review videos where she really tests things. She's very honest.
Yep.
There is just no lying on that channel. And we know her personally. I spent time with her without makeup on. We had a creator trip, and she is so beautiful on the inside and the outside. Yeah. But she knows what's up when it comes.
She does. And it's just so inspiring to me. I just really feel like it's the power of consistency in your skincare. Yes, she's done some devices, very little in-office treatments. Like, I think she's put them all onto her channel, a few lasers, a few things in office, but mostly it's been consistent skincare. And she transformed her skin. And literally by the time she turned 60, she looked better than she was when she turned 50. Which is just inspiring to me.
So inspiring, and she's so honest. Like, her content's just so great. Okay, let's do our mask giveaway, guys. Let's do our mask giveaway. All right, let's pull that up. Thank you for the recommendations for 60 plus. Is this our winner? Lori. Yay! Monica, you win! I'm so excited for you. Okay, this is how you're going to claim your prize. So you are going to send an email over to production@glamgirlgabby.com. She's just going to verify that it's you. And then after that, we'll get your mailing address. I'll pop that in the mail for you this week. You should have it. I'm in Canada, so you'll probably have it in like 6 or 7 business days. And then you have to let us know what you think. Please report back. I'm so happy for you, Monica. Congratulations. Pen, do you still have time to do a couple more?
Sure. I can talk about skincare all day.
I know. I'm like, there's more that we need to do. We won't get through all of them, but why don't you guys vote? Do you now want to talk about the Medicube? That's a big one that a lot of people have talked about online. Or do you want to talk about the new Zip Dot? Or do you want to talk about the Nua? There are so many.
Or another one that's gotten a lot of buzz in my community is that Dermraze Revive. You have that one too, don't you, Gab?
I don't have that. And I've actually seen a lot of people in the comments asking about it. So let's do that next. Let's do Dermraze Revive Laser next. At-home laser with ultra high energy for collagen regeneration, uses cutting edge 1064 nm laser technology. You know what? You take it home. There's a lot of info here, but you know it better. Go.
So this one is kind of like a counterpart to the Tria, in my opinion. It's 1064. The Tria, we don't know we're going to find out the wavelength. I'm so thinking that it's similar to the Nira, but who knows? 1064 is a fantastic wavelength that is going to hit the dermis and help with collagen stimulation. But I think that this one is really good for smoothing the skin, so helping with texture. And then also, which is typically collagen elastin. And then also it's going to help with pigmentation. So if you are somebody who has hyperpigmentation, stubborn spots, if you have texture that, irregular texture, and if you have irregular texture plus spots, it really can give this irregular look to the skin. And as soon as you start to clear some of that, it really is incredible how much more smooth you can make your skin look. I did a video on my channel, and this particular laser got so much feedback for people wanting it to be tested out. The tech looks really, really exciting. And that 1064, like I said, that's going to travel into the dermis. It's another one that is fractional and non-ablative. So it is not going to do anything to your skin as far as it's not going to break your skin at all. You're not going to see any holes in your skin or anything like that, but it's going to travel into the dermis, generate heat by the resistance of your skin as it's traveling in. That is going to trick your skin into thinking it's been damaged, and it's going to generate some collagen. But along the way, it is targeting water. Every single laser has a target. And so they call the targets chromophores. So it could be blood, it could be water, it could be melanin, and it's targeting water. And what happens is where the water lives in our dermis, in the laser actually targets that water. The water then pushes out of the skin all kinds of stuff. So that's part of the reason why it can help with getting rid of excess pigment. It's actually pretty mind-blowing. It's really cool.
Really cool. If you could only have one between Tria and this one, which one would you pick?
So I would say for me, and that's a tough one, but I would say for me, my main issue and I started this channel 7 years ago on hyperpigmentation. And I had such bad hyperpigmentation that I cleared with skincare, but that's been the bane of my existence. So for me, it would probably be the Dermraze, only because that's my main issue. I'm always fighting hyperpigmentation. But as I get older, I'm going to be 52 this year. And as I get older, of course, collagen is always anything you can do to boost collagen, you want to do, of course. But I think people assess someone else, and when they don't have like that picture you put up from your car, clear skin with no hyperpigmentation, you automatically see youth. And I don't mean like 20. I just mean health and vitality. And so for me, clearing pigment is everything. It's everything. And then texture too, especially because our necks, something that happens as we get older is, I don't know if it happens to you guys, but we get that kind of chicken skinny starts to happen on our neck. And anything we can do to improve the texture, the tone, redness, and hyperpigmentation on our neck, sign me up.
Yes, that's a big one. That's my mom's like biggest thing that makes her feel self-conscious.
Yeah.
Bronny's asking, I have LED. What should be my next device? Eyes are my biggest problem. I get it. Me too.
I feel like probably Nira is probably the one for you.
Yeah.
Definitely not Zip. It wouldn't be the Zip. It would not be the NUA, which we haven't talked about. That's radio frequency, because you're not going to use those around your eyes and get any what you want. Probably the Nira, don't you think, Gabby?
That's the
It's
one
such
that
a
I have.
targeted treatment that you can do so fast.
Yeah, that's the one that I've really seen the biggest change in a very targeted area. The
Yeah.
other ones give you change, like holistic change. Like
Yeah.
this made my whole skin look much nicer, but this is like very targeted. Another thing, Bronny, is you have to go slow with this, but I also found that I got a lot of change using tretinoin under my eyes. I started really slow, putting a very thin layer and then putting a ton of moisturizer on top at nighttime only, of course, once a week. Then I went up to twice, 3. Using a bit of retinol in this area has really helped with skin thickness for me personally. But go slow. This is a very thin spot. You don't want to do anything that's going to make it worse either. Don't do what I did with the Tria, basically. Okay, so let's do another one really quick, because we never get Pen on the channel. We got to talk.
Gab, is it okay if I answer Jan real quick?
Absolutely.
So Jan, yes, absolutely. It can make your eyes, or the skin around your eyes, drier. and you probably came on after we were talking about that, but that actually was my experience. But the good news about that is that if that does happen, that's really easy to address. And if you know that once you're using the Nira, what you want to do is I treat that skin like a sponge. Anytime I'm dehydrated, I want to put as much water into the skin, and then I want to use something that's semi-occlusive. You don't want to go too heavy around your eyes, so that you can trap that water in. So if you use the Nira around your eyes and you find that it makes that skin a little bit dry, which everybody doesn't experience that, but I did, it's an easy fix, and you're getting that collagen stimulation. So the good news is it's not going to make it perpetually drier. You can actually address it as long as you're prepared for it.
Yeah, perfect. We had one other question here that I really want to answer, because Denise has been asking a couple of times. Oh my goodness, my hair is like a puffball right now. I don't know. You answer this.
Okay, so yes. Well, okay. Yes, you can obviously use a vitamin A on tazarotene is a vitamin A, and so you can. But are you doing that for collagen? Are you doing that do you have pigmentation that you're trying to get rid of? It kind of depends, because I would say that what I have found out of the vitamin A's that work really well on the body is adapalene. And it's crazy, because the different vitamin A's, usually it has a lot to do with how many and which receptors they work on. And tretinoin works on all 3 vitamin A receptors. And I can't remember how tazarotene, it's a little bit more gentle, I think, than tretinoin, I believe. And then adapalene only works on 1, but it seems to have really positive anti-aging effects that also works. It also works on hyperpigmentation. And if you live in the States, adapalene is over the counter and it's not super expensive. So I would start with that on a larger area. I'd be really, really careful ever with tretinoin in a large area, just because it's a lot of vitamin A getting into your system, and you got to be careful with that. But adapalene, I think, is the way to start if you want to dabble in retinoids on body parts.
Amazing. Let's talk about the NUA.
Cool. Yes.
This is a very interesting device.
Yes.
So this visibly reduces wrinkles and improves skin elasticity, this is why it's different, okay? Uses clinical grade radio frequency technology to help the skin renew its production of collagen and elastin, 2 proteins responsible for firmness and elasticity. So this you use with an activator gel that looks just like an ultrasound gel. It's really gooey and thick. This is so, so different, you guys, than the Zip. So please, what do you think about this? I have very mixed feelings about it.
Okay, so first of all, the Nua is made by a company called NDMed, and NDMed actually has professional in-clinic radio frequency devices, like legit. The doctor's office where I used to work, we didn't have NDMed, but it would be like the devices that we have there for RF. The entire premise of RF is applying this radio frequency energy that converts into heat when it's applied to your skin. You have to use that conductivity gel so that that energy will pass through the gel and be conducted into the skin. Otherwise, it just won't get into your skin at all. So that's why you got to use that conductivity gel. And it's kind of a specific type of gel because it also helps with heat regulation. So I used to really want to use the Zip gel with my Nua because I really prefer the Zip gel feeling, but it isn't designed to be used with heat. So it's really good idea to stick with radio frequency gel is good with radio frequency devices. And but if you don't get on with one, you could find one from a different device and test it out. You know, you can kind of play around as long as it's designed for radio frequency. Okay, so what it is doing, it is sending this radio frequency energy into the skin, and the skin is resisting this energy as it's going in, and that is causing heat. That heat, again, is going to cause well, it does two things. It actually causes your collagen fibers to kind of tense up. So sometimes you will think, I got an instant tightening. It doesn't last, but it is really interesting. Like you can do a whole Nua session on your lower face and feel snatched. Like it's bizarre, but it is temporary. But long term, there's collagen stimulation from that heat that the body perceives as damage. And so it sends in collagen. That's the entire thing with any device except for LED is that typically, and microcurrent's doing no damage. They're ATP, but most of these other devices, the whole point is they poke the skin in a way that is, oh, we're injuring you, but you're not really injured. So your body's like, oh, we've been injured. And it sends in the reinforcements of collagen and elastin. And so the trick is to do the littlest amount of damage, but make the body think there's damage so that you get the collagen without a big cost to, the cost. That's why when you go get laser treatments and stuff like that, you really have to balance out what you're doing in that treatment with what you're going to get out of the treatment, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
I love the Nua. I will say that I've had the cordless version and I've had the corded version, and the corded version is better and it's actually less expensive. I think so. I think that the heat is a little bit more consistent because when you're using it, the light changes so that you're at because you need to be at a certain heat in order to cause that collagen stimulation. You have to be at like 42 degrees Celsius, something like that. The device knows when you get to that and it will turn green. And I find with the corded version, if anybody thinks that they want to try this device, the corded version seems to stay at the right temperature consistently better than the cordless version.
Mm-hmm. Can you use a different conductive gel, and why can't you use it around the eyes?
So yes, you can use a different conductive gel. I just recommend always looking for a conductive gel that is meant for radio frequency because of the heat. Like most conductive gels, like if they're for microcurrent or whatever, you can use almost anything. You can use any water-based gel. There can be a drop of oil in it, but usually you want it to be primarily water-based so that it does, because oil will inhibit conduction. But a lot of the ones that are made for radio frequency are taking into account that they're dealing with heat. And so they're formulated for that. So I used to try to mess around with all the different things. And honestly, over the years, I just learned stick with radio frequency conductive gels. It doesn't have to be Nuas. If you don't like the Nua one, you can definitely look like there's other brands that make you can find them and you can switch it up and just see. It doesn't matter how expensive it is. You can find one that's meant for radio frequency at all price points. But yeah, you definitely do have to have conductivity gel, and I would recommend using one for radio frequency.
Amazing.
Oh, and around the eyes. So honestly, you probably could, but the reason why that you don't is it's not been studied. So they won't, anytime they haven't studied something, they just basically say no. I have definitely used it around my eyes. I've even done where I did like hot and cold, like cryo. There's studies that show that doing like hot to 42 degrees Celsius and then cooling down, or vice versa. I think it's hot and then cold, back and forth. It's almost like getting in a sauna and then doing a cold plunge. There's some studies that show that you might get a little bit more of those heat shock proteins and a little bit more collagen stimulation. I tried that and I really did like it. But the companies, if they do not run tests on areas, then they're going to just say, nope, it's not meant for that. I'm using the Neura right now on my stomach around my belly button.
Oh, I know you're doing that test.
Yeah. So I've been doing it now for a few weeks, and honestly, I haven't seen any results yet. But I mean, if any of you out there have had children and you know around the belly button what could happen. So I'm trying to see if it'll work with stimulating some collagen, and it's this big of an area. So I'm like, I can sit and do that while I watch Seinfeld or something, you know? So, it's worth a shot. So.
This is an interesting question. Is it best to use the Neura and microcurrent to get collagen production and muscle stimulation for jowls?
So that's an excellent question. And they are the best of friends. So the way that you always want to do, anytime you incorporate microcurrent into any other device, you always want to finish with microcurrent. That's going to be the final thing that you do. And when you use a radio frequency device, it's really fantastic prior to microcurrent. If you have the time to do that, it's amazing. You warm up the muscles, you get the circulation going and all this stuff. You go in to do your microcurrent and you are already in this activated skin that is ready for the microcurrent. It is one of the best 1-2 punches ever. I think like 5 years ago, I did a video on it for the lower face, jawline, and jowls, because I absolutely love that combination on the skin. But you have to have the time, and you still have to commit to consistency. You can't do it like once a week and think anything's going to happen. It's still, so you got to dedicate the time and dedicate the days to it.
At the beginning of the stream, we were talking about the time commitment to do it and not having enough time and having young kids and blah, 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 or not having young kids, but just not having the patience. And you said you have tips on that. Can you share those tips now? I think that's really valuable.
So one thing that I do, because I really love to do microcurrent, I do zip several times a week. And the way that I make that happen for me personally is conductivity gel always is my nemesis, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to put that on. I'm going to have to wash it off. I'm going to have to start over, whatever. So I find that the best thing for me is if I get up in the morning and I put some conductivity gel on my clean skin from overnight, I can do a 4-minute zip treatment, wash my face, and move on with my day. And that really works well for me. I also like to get an LED treatment in the morning. I tend to be somebody who gets up pretty early before everyone else. And I know that's such a stupid tip. I know people are like, oh, I roll, get up earlier. I just think if you get up just a little bit earlier and you knock out that zip, the very first thing, it's 4 minutes. You wash your face. I like to do DNA repair enzymes before my LED and you should go check out my channel where I talk about DNA repair enzymes, because they are the thing that I think so many of us as we're getting older should be using, because they help to correct past sun damage. But there is a DNA repair enzyme that is activated by light, and it is absolutely phenomenal before LED. And so I love to use some DNA repair enzymes, put my LED mask on, and I truly feel like it just starts my day off in, a great fashion. The tip is twofold: getting up early before your kids, which I realize that's such a stupid tip, so I apologize for that. But also is getting that zip or microcurrent out of the way first, because then you wash off that conductivity gel and you're on your way. Otherwise, I feel like the conductivity gel with any of these is the hindrance, because it's goopy, it's in the way, all that stuff. So if you do it the very first thing in the morning and then you wash your face and you're set off for the day, it isn't something you're going to do later that you have to do when you're tired at night. That's another skincare tip that I've given people, is like, get your skincare started at like 6 if you can, if you're not going to go anywhere or whatever, because by the time it's bedtime, I don't know about you, but there are nights when I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I'll wash my face and crawl into bed and like, so do it before you get tired is just like, it's so simple, and it's not that hard when you're not super tired. When you're about to get in bed, man, that's the last thing I want to do is put water on my face,
Yeah, absolutely.
Silly tips, I realize, but they're tiny little tweaks to just the way we see our day that I swear can change the way that we look at our time.
Yeah, it is a great tip. Great tip. I agree. Michelle's asking, how much do you have to worry about oils in the zip?
You don't have to worry a ton. If there are conductivity gels that you will look down the list, like I say water-based, and what I mean is they should be primarily water-based. A lot of conductivity gels will throw in a few essential oils way down the list. Usually they do that for olfactory, like some kind of aromatherapy kind of thing. That's okay. If those oils are way down on the ingredient deck, it's probably okay. The other thing about the Zip that I really do like about it is when it is in contact with your skin and there is actual conduction, it lights up. So you will know if you have something that has too much oil in it, or your oil in your skin is never gonna, if you wash your face, you're gonna be fine. But if that light doesn't come on, you don't have conduction. That's when you might want to reassess your conductivity gel. But if that light is coming on, you're good to go.
Okay. You guys, I want to answer all of these. There's so many good questions, but we do have to go. I kept Pen 20 minutes over what I should have kept her. Why don't we pop up quickly the order? Because I said we were going to rank. I need to give you guys the tea. So this is my ranking.
Oh my gosh.
There we go. So these are my top 10. So my number 1 is Current Body.
That's my number 1 too.
Right? If I could have nothing else, this is what I would have. My number 2 will be Nira Pro because of my eyes. That's my most self-conscious thing. My 3rd would be Zip Halo. Love that device. My 4th is Tria, only because I'm only ranking it 4th, not because it's not amazing, but because I worry about the tretinoin schedule and it's very intense. So you got to be ready for it. Then my 5th is Zip Dot, only because I don't struggle a lot with acne. Zip Dot is specifically for breakouts. I think this is amazing if you have younger kids. And then my 6th is Nua, just because I hate the gel.
Yeah, I understand
that. Now, pens, you go.
Okay, so my first one is also the Current Body LED, and honestly, LED is just my favorite modality, so that was so easy for me. My second is the Tria and the Derm Rays, and I said that probably because I don't know that I'm most excited about those. I'm really super excited about these promising layers. So I ranked those according to that. So not with any experience with the lasers. So that's a little bit of cheating. The third was my Zip Halo because I have been a Zip person for so many years. I totally believe in microcurrent. I think that it's really kind of an easy thing to do. And I do think that it really affects the skin quality. Microcurrent is just one of those things that we know as estheticians is legit, even if it gets poo-pooed by other people. I put Nua 4th because that is another one that I actually have seen positive change when I committed to it in the past. I will agree, I don't love the conductivity gel. And I will also say that that is one of those that probably gets the most graveyard attention, meaning people buy it and they end up putting it in a drawer. So you got to be really careful buying the Nua because you got to be prepared to use it or you definitely won't see any results from it. And that is kind of a downside of that device. I put the Zip Dot 5th because 2 things. Number 1, if you own the Zip Halo, you don't need the Zip Dot because it is it's one of the programs on the Zip Halo is the Zip Dot. What is it called? The problem solver on the Zip Halo. So if you already own the Halo, you don't need the Dot. But I do think that the Dot is really cool tech in that it has that specific waveform that is going to target bacteria and help to kind of eradicate and provide a terrible environment for pimples. And then it also contains the nano, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's kind of a neat little device for younger people. They made it really cool, cute looking, which will appeal to teenagers. So that's where that ranks. NuFace is 6th. For no reason other than I usually just grab my Zip. NuFace is an excellent device. It's another microcurrent device. There is a devoted crowd to NuFace and it's a good device. I put Nira as 7th, mostly just because it did cause a little bit of dryness around my eyes. But again, I wouldn't want to necessarily dissuade someone from trying it because it does provide some results. You just might want to be prepared for some dehydration that you can address as you're using it. I put Medicube at 8th, mostly just because I haven't used it. I have it, by the way, the HRD. And this was actually gifted to me from a practitioner in town. She wanted me to try it and give her feedback, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. So that's why I put it there. And then I put the Jobs as 9th, mostly because of the Hannibal Lecter factor. somebody
God.
pointed out in here, and I'm like, yes, that's exactly what it is. It's Hannibal Lecter.
I'm telling you, you better send that selfie when you get in the mail because
Yes, yes, we want to see.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much, Pen, for your expertise and
Oh
your
my gosh,
time.
thank you for having me. You're gonna have to come over on my channel, and we're gonna have to have some fun because you are so loved.
Oh gosh, anytime, anytime. You guys, if you don't follow Pen Smith Skincare, definitely give her a follow today. The information on there is unbelievable. She knows everything there is to know about skincare. She is just the best. So we'll leave it
Thanks,
also.
Gab. Thank you guys so much for having me over here. Gabby just raves about her community, and it's obvious that you guys have built something special. So thank you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you so much. Until next time.
All right.
This video's over.